What is up, Dub Club members? It's your boy Johnny, and I'm back today with a brand new video. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be going over some of the best settings to use on console in Apex Legends Season 7. Now, when it comes to every single new season in Apex Legends, there are slight tweaks and adjustments made to the game, as well as the removal and the add of new weapons and items. Now, with Season 7, we most likely had our biggest change. We have the map Olympus, the R99 is now floor loot, and the Prowler is now a vaulted weapon, or more so a rare weapon that is more difficult to find. So with this season, I've noticed I had to change my settings in order for me to adapt to these new changes much more easily, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys my settings that you guys can try out for yourself and see if they give you that edge when picking off enemies and actually potentially resulting in a win. Guys, if you are brand new around here and you like watching Apex Legends content such as this, then be sure to subscribe and don't forget to turn on those post notifications. A whopping 98% of you who are watching this video, yes, you lovely people, haven't even subscribed yet. So if we all come together, we can actually bring that number down. If we can get that down to 75% of you lovely people not being subscribed just yet, I will give away some Apex coins to one lucky person watching this video on the platform of their choice. Deal? Subscribe if you haven't already, and with that being said, let's get right into these settings. Okay, so over time, basically, I've always been like ranting and raving about using ALC and just, you know, just basically saying that ALC is probably like one of the best things to actually use. However, for this season, I strongly recommend you just use like the normal settings and the normal presets. So if I just show you guys my settings real quick right now. Obviously, if you guys have watched my previous videos before on like the best controller settings and stuff like that, or the console settings, you would probably see some similarities basically. So impromptu style, obviously I keep it on compact. Button hint, obviously I turn off because, you know, I already know the buttons, already know like what I'm going to be using. Ping opacity I like to keep faded. Obituaries I like to keep on. Minimap rotation I turn off, it just doesn't feel right obviously having the minimap rotate as I go along. Weapon auto cycle on empty I keep on. Obviously you can turn that off if you know that your weapon is going to be low on ammo soon, and you know obviously a lot about the the ammo of the weapon. Auto sprint I like to put on. It just saves a ton of time really for me. A lot of people just don't like auto sprint, and that's completely fine. That's down to your personal preference. Like if you want to keep it on, keep it on. Double tap sprint obviously I turn off because obviously I've got auto sprint on anyway, so I don't really need double tap sprint on. Incoming damage feedback I like to keep as 3D, so it's just a three-dimensional arrow indicator rather than a 2D one or a circular one. Taking damage closes death box menu, obviously I turn that off because if you turn that on then it's just not going to be nice. It's not going to help, because especially if you're trying to pick yourself like an Evo shield or something, if you get shot once you won't be able to pick up that Evo shield and you're in a ton of trouble. Hop up, pop up I like to keep on. It obviously determines that the UI element will show when a hop up is attached to the weapon. I like that, it sounds good, and it just reminds me of what that hop up actually does. Streamer mode I turn off obviously until I do like a stream, then I will turn all on, or the killer only I'll just turn on. Anonymous mode I like to keep disabled. I want people to know that it is me. Usually sharing obviously just enabled. But then obviously the main juicy part of it is the controller. So the button layout I stick with button puncher. That's because of all my years of playing Call of Duty and other first person shooters, I like to slide, or I like to, you know, do crouching with my right stick rather than my B button or the circle button, depending on whatever console you guys are on. So I stick with button puncher. Stick layout I like to stick as default because Southpaw Legacy or Legacy Southpaw I've never really used, and personally I just don't want to touch it. I'm happy with it just being default. Interact and reload button, tap to use and reload is probably my favorite one because you're able to just pick up weapons like with ease basically. Then you've obviously got the crouch button obviously, which is toggle, so you can hold it if you want to. This is probably preferable if you have a scuff controller or you have like paddles on the back of your controller. Hold would probably be like the best one for you, but obviously I'm sticking with a standard Xbox One controller, so I stick with toggle, so just have to keep pressing it to go up and down and crouch. Aim button obviously hold, like if you want to do toggle because you're a PC player comes into console, it's completely down to you. But I just stick with hold because it just feels right. Trigger dead zones I put none on because obviously it determines how sensitive the triggers are when pressed. I just put none on, like, it just feels right for me. Menu cursor speed standard anyway. But now the main thing here, so It may be a bit weird to you guys maybe, because like my look sensitivity is like super high, but my aiming down sight is quite low, to be fair. And the reason why for this is because I like to determine and have a lot more control when I'm aiming down sights. So obviously if I'm getting picked off from, like, let's say behind me, or we end up getting a third party, I like to have the super high in order to flip myself around and aim at the enemy ready. And then when I'm aiming, I want to keep it like quite slow, so I'm able to pinpoint where that person is. And especially if it's at a longer distance as well, I get more control of the weapon, especially if you have a good sight on as well. Per optic sights, obviously my look sensitivity is super high. Like I say, default 3, and my per optic one is on. I like to go 3, 4, and the rest all 5. I rarely really use like the 3 or the 4 time optics. I'll normally stick with the 1 times optic or the 2 times optic. 3 times, obviously, if I'm using something like the Hemlock or something, which it can obviously do pretty good damage at a long range, or like a sniper or something. So I like to obviously use a 3 times optic when I have that chance to. But obviously, you know, I stick it at very high, because if you're going to go at long distance, you want to make sure if that person is sliding at long distance, you want to make sure you can pinpoint them at the right time, or shoot just ahead of them, just so you can hit them with 1 shot potentially. So then I've obviously got response curve, keep it classic, keep it simple, so I'll just stick with classic. Look dead zone is small. The reason why is because my controller is quite dated. Obviously I had one previous to this where I actually had to use large, but if you've got like a brand new controller, if you've got a scuff controller as well that's just brand new, fresh out the box, and you haven't really like used it too much, chances are you may just have to put this on none. Give that a try. But if you do notice like a weapon sway, and or like a sway, like when you're looking left, I think it's preferably left, and you're not actually touching the right stick, then just increase it back up to small, and I think you should be good to go. Movement dead zone, obviously I put on small. Like I say, it's a dated controller, but it is still good as new basically, so I don't have to put it on large. If I had a very dated controller, then I would put it on large, obviously, to make sure that I can keep my weapon straight, or keep my legend straight basically. Inverted look, obviously turn off. Like I don't understand how people play inverted look. Like, it makes no sense to me. And then obviously, personal preference of mine, vibration is on off. Now, vibration for me, like when I'm firing the weapon, it is just too distracting for me, so I just turn it off completely. And I've actually noticed as well that I'm able to pick off enemies more accurately when I have the vibration turned off, because my controller isn't shaking uncontrollably just because I'm firing the weapon. And like I say, ALC I've turned off as well, which is a big difference compared to what I did in Season 6 and Season 5, because in Season 5 and Season 6 I used ALC, and I was really promoting that ALC is super duper useful. But obviously if I do end up changing to ALC, I'll let you guys aware, and I'll let you guys know, and I'll give you guys the best settings for these. Then obviously, just to say, like field of view 96, sprint view shake is minimal. I don't like the shake on it, it's absolutely no, don't even get me started. But my field of view I like to keep on 96. The sweet spot's probably like 95 to 100 or 105 if you want to go for a push, but I like to just stick at 96. It just feels right, it just feels comfortable for me. But again, that's down to personal preference as well. And then audio, obviously just standard audio. And there you have it, people. That is literally my settings for Season 7 so far. So obviously, like I say, if I do end up changing my settings to anything different, anything new, then obviously I'm gonna let you guys aware, and I'll obviously make like a follow-up video basically to this. But anyway guys, if you guys want to see any more content like this, or you want to see any more tips and tricks, or maybe some tutorials, or maybe just show off some more settings obviously that I use to help improve my game, then obviously be sure to press that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on post notifications. Like I said, if we reach 75% of you that are not subscribed, so we increase it by 25%, then I will do a giveaway of some Apex coins, so you guys can get some cosmetics or open some Apex packs, whatever you want to do with them basically. And yeah, you're gonna look absolutely fly when you jump out of the jump ship. So yeah, my name's been Johnny, and if no one's already told you, have an amazing day. Take care and peace.